Don't be afraid to be aggressive. Again, that structure is very important because all we're doing is just pushing it over, scraping the sides. If you were in the laboratory, you'd have seen that one of the tests we called an aerocometer, where we have a screwdriver blade and we go, do this. So this, as long as we use the flat, it's not going to be a problem. It's just going to brush over. But it is a very, very efficient method of cleaning and removing water. So we've used detergent, always rinse it out. The biggest single problem we get when we're cleaning Flotex is detergent. And people leave the detergent in. If they've used the wrong detergent, it dries sticky. Washing up liquid, try this at home. You want to know how it feels? Get your washing up liquid, put it on your hands, do that, and let it dry. And how nasty is that? That's what happens on the carpet. Always rinse it out whenever you can. So this takes care of anything which is greasy. So your butter, your margarine, your olive oil, your cooking oil, that sort of material, use that system. Always use detergent. You can use hot water. Use it up to 60 degrees, not a problem. I actually use boiling water on some spillages, but you won't find that in the brochure because McDonald's got sued for hot coffee. I don't want Fogo being sued for boiling hot water. So you can use it if you know what you're doing, but anything hand hot, which is 48, 60 degrees, is fine. And with grease, of course, the hotter, the easier it is to dissolve the grease. So don't be afraid to use hot water. However, a lot of the spillages we get are actually water that can be removed with just plain water. This is treacle, and this is molasses. Really, really sticky. Don't do this at home on your carpet.
Sugar syrup.
Yeah.
Okay.
From cane sugar.
So,
It's normally swollen down from the breakfast every day.
really dig it in. The nice thing with this, it's water soluble. We don't need to use a detergent. You could use one just to, it'll wet out quicker. It's not essential. Again, scrape out as much as you can. Now, take out as much as you can again. Bit of water. Now, scrubbing's fine, but if you've only got a little spill, why wet out a little bit? So, if there's only a small, a very small spill, like shoe polish or something like that, just use this as the agitator. All we do with the scrubbing brush is we move the cleaning liquor around the fibres. Likewise, just by scraping, we're going to move the liquid around. So, just use the scraper. Because it's completely waterproof, we can move the liquor around as well. So, it does have other benefits, just Flotex. So, get in there, again, scrape. Now, in an ideal world, we'll rinse that out. We're going to wet clean this whole area shortly, so let's pretend we've rinsed it out. But again, nothing wrong with it. Water doesn't harm this product at all, so don't be afraid to use the water liberally, I think. So we've taken care of the grease, we've taken care of the water soluble, so things like jam, ketchup, coffee, fruit drinks, those sort of things, perfectly okay just to use plain water. Just give it plenty of time, plenty of water, just to get rid of the sugar. Sugar is the killer when it comes to the drinks and the water soluble things. If you don't get rid of all the sugar, it'll dry, it'll be sticky, and it'll go black. So don't be afraid, plenty of water. There's a third type, it's the solvent base. So things like boot polish, magic marker, those sort of things. We may have to use a solvent with. So what I'll do is wrap another cloth. No, I won't, I'll go get on that. We've done one earlier. We're going to use a solvent. We just use magic marker. This is permanent marker. And we could use my shoe polish as well. So things like this, we'll be talking about solvent, boot polish, put a bit there, magic marker. I didn't choose the colour or the magic marker, incidentally. So, right. With the boot polish, we might be able to get rid of it just using a very alkaline, this is quite an alkaline cleaner. Boot polish contains a high content of grease. So if we can break the grease down, then there's a chance we can actually get rid of the boot polish as well. The reason I've brought this as well, it doesn't always work. Sunspot activity, I think, is the cause, if you're into that, but with boot polish, unless it's been trodden in, take off what you can, bit of Mr. Muscle, just let it work a little bit. However, with permanent marker, we're going to have to use a solvent. So things like gloss paint, creosote, permanent marker, you're going to have to use a solvent with. So this is POG, paint, oil and grease remover. I don't know what it is in your language, but probably isn't POG. So, what we'll do there is just wet a bit, because this is generally marks like this are surface marks, so you don't really have to dig in deep, but I don't want to flood it because that's going to spread the whole thing around. So a bit of solvent, just rub it in, see how much we're taking off. A little bit of magic marker does go a long way. So do that, take care of that like that. We've used a solvent. Anybody depressed today? So, a bit of detergent just to break the solvent down. What we want to do now is clean that solvent out. Use a spot of water as well. It doesn't mix very well, and that's why it's going white. But you really do need to clean it. As much to get rid of the smell as anything else. Yeah. So that'll do. So if you do use solvent, always give it a quick rinse afterwards just to get rid of any excess there. This is quite safe. Things like benzene, white spirits, rubbing alcohol are all quite safe to use on Flotex. The only thing which is reasonably common, which could damage Flotex, would be acetone, which is nail varnish remover. Guys, you know the stuff I'm talking about. Okay. So that will attack the PVC. It won't attack the nylon, but it'll attack the PVC. So if you've got nail varnish you want to remove, put your male varnish remover on a cloth and then shift it with a cloth. As long as it doesn't go down. Right, with the boot polish, quick prayer, and south, no, we are facing east, funnily enough. Hold on. So quick prayer, and with a bit of luck, it'll come out. Nah, it's not coming out. Okay, we're going to have to resort to the solvent, I think. Sometimes we can get rid of it, other times not. If it doesn't, resort to plan B, which is back to the solvent. I'm a bit disappointed, really, because generally it comes out. There we go. We got rid of the bulk anyway. That's fine. So anything like that, try and break it down. Solvents are fine, but they do have health risks. You know, you really don't want to be using solvent with bare hands and stuff like that. So use solvent sparingly, you know, as a last